Rappers are just as great as masters of music such as Louis Armstrong and John Coltrane. That last take was pretty controversial in a way, and it was also very divided in terms of people's thoughts on it. So I'm going to try to take the time to explain why. In the early 1990s, when rap was really coming into its own, you had a lot of people that were starting to compare it to jazz music, for lack of a better term. I believe it was Quincy Jones who said that rap was the bebop of today. And even though Quincy has been in the business for many years, that's not a take that I agreed with. One, there were similarities between rap and bebop in terms of the rhythm of the flow of the lyrics had a similarity to the bebop line. Of course, now to play devil's advocate, one could argue that rap was more about dance and bebop was getting away from dance. That's another conversation. But the reality is that when you add melody and harmony to the bebop music, it sort of takes this music to to another level. And so in my view, I don't feel that rap is the same as that. I think there's, like I said, similarities. And also, rap is something that is a skill. Like, for example, doing freestyle is not easy, where you have to make up lyrics and rhyme. That is an improvisational element. But I'm not going to say that this is on the same level as a Charlie Parker, because not only of the melodic and harmonic content, but the music that was being created at the time that it was something that was to influence musicians for generations to come. Now, someone in the comments had mentioned Louis Armstrong being as great as Kendrick Lamar, and he would die on that hill. The reason that I'm not going to die on that hill with you is because without Louis Armstrong, there's no Kendrick Lamar. Now, what does that mean? Okay, Louis Armstrong established the standard for which the rhythm of American popular music would grow. So out of the 1920s music, it evolved into the swing music of the 30s and then the bebop music in the 40s. And then eventually that swing went into the rock and roll music of the 50s and 60s. And then that went into the funk of the 1970s. And then the funk went into the hip hop of the 1980s and 90s. So it's this long evolution that music has taken. And so Louis Armstrong really set the standard. And so that's why it is that I wouldn't compare a lot of people to Louis Armstrong. I'd never say that my brother Wynton is better than Louis Armstrong or just as great. He wouldn't say it either. And so that's why I made this point about rap. It's not that it's this lower form of music. It's just that someone like Louis Armstrong, and that was very important. I mentioned Louis Armstrong and John Coltrane, two important masters in the music. And I wouldn't put rap just aside them like it's the same, because of the important contributions they've made and the standard that they set for generations to come.